Hi campers, this is your friendly neighborhood Father Leo Walsh coming to you from my chapel, and as you can see, it's a pretty cool little chapel. We're going to go all the way around so you can see everything. That's where I sit when I pray, and over here is my dog. Her name is Joy, and she prays with me all the time. Okay, so here we are in the chapel, and there's the Last Supper because it's important. And here's the tabernacle light that shows that Jesus is in the tabernacle in my chapel behind me. So what's going on today? We're talking about the Transfiguration. So what happened at the Transfiguration? Now, you might recall that Jesus took Peter, James, and John up onto a high mountain. It's actually called Mount Tabor, if you want to get technical about it. And he was changed in appearance before him, and his clothes became as white can be. And there appeared also with him Moses and Elijah. And they were conversing with him. And Peter, James, and John were just amazed at this, and they're watching. And what's that all about? Why would Jesus take them up there? Why would his appearance be changed? He was like in glory, and there's Moses and Elijah, and it's got to be one of the most incredible things you've ever seen. Well, remember, he was on his way to Jerusalem to suffer, to die, and rise again. So, rise again, over here. Rise again. There he is. So, but he knew it was going to be tough on the apostles. He knew that they were going to have a tough time of it. If he was going to suffer and die, they were going to be really hurting. And they needed a little something to keep them going. And they needed a little glimpse of his future glory. And that's exactly what he gave him. Have you ever been to a movie? And you know you never show up at the movie at the time you're supposed to show up at the movie, because what happens for 10 minutes before the movie? Previews of coming attractions. You used to get to see all the things that are going to happen. Some of them really good because you never have to go see the movie because you've seen all the good parts in the previews. But he wanted them to get a little glimpse of his future glory to sustain them as they were going to go on and witness his passion and his death, and eventually, of course, his resurrection. But when you're going through passion and death, it's kind of tough to think about resurrection. So he wanted to give them a little glimpse of his future glory with the Father beforehand. Moses and Elijah are there because they're showing that he is the fulfillment of the law, that's Moses, and the prophets, that's Elijah. So he actually shows that he's the fulfillment of all that people are hoping for. Isn't that incredible that Jesus would do this? But what's more incredible at the very end of that is what happens at the very end of the story and the experience when Peter is just overwhelmed. He's like, Lord, this is so cool. This is so incredibly awesome. I want to stay here forever. Tell you what, let's put up a tent for you. Let's put a tent up for Elijah. Let's put one up for Moses, and we can stay up here a while. And he really didn't know what he was saying, because, it was just totally too much awesomeness for him to put up with and to understand what's going on. And then a dark cloud comes over and said, this is my beloved son. Listen to him. Now, that's something we ought to pay attention to. So the voice of the Father coming from the cloud saying, this is my beloved son. Listen to him. That's pretty amazing. And we should. Today, what I want you to do is I want you to listen in prayer. Sometimes we think we always have to talk and talk and talk and talk. I had a friend who had a girlfriend in high school, and she was talking about, he'd set the phone down, and he'd pick it back up, and she's talking about this, okay, great, and he'd put it down again, then he'd pick it up again, then he hands it to me, and she's talking about all these things, and I set it down, he picks it up, she never shut up, you could never get a word in edgewise. Sometimes we do that in prayer. What I'd like you to do today is just listen. Perhaps you might listen to the scriptures. Perhaps you might just listen to the breeze. Perhaps you might get in a very quiet place at home and listen, because God always speaks in silence. And he wants to speak to you today. This is my beloved son. Listen to him. And when we do, we get just a glimpse, just a little glimpse of what God has in store for us. Have a great day, campers. We'll talk to you later. God bless. Bye.